Hello everybody, today we are going to talk about minimum browsers support thresholds. Sometimes you do not want to use vendor prefix in all possible situations. Because, for example, look at this. Border radius for Mozilla, for WebKit. The truth is that, for example, Mozilla is use the old version of Mozilla where you need the vendor prefix is used like 2 people in 1000, something like that. Why even bother? Why lose the precious kilobytes? Why slow down your website for people who are really upgrading their system? Why lose time, right? Because, this is a cosmetic thing, the border radius, and then it's a good idea to change it. You can check here. Let's check debug browser support true. How many people are supporting something? You see, capability border radius is prefixed with Mozilla because 0.25% of user needed, which is more than threshold of 0.1%. What is this threshold? How to change it, right? For the border radius. Well, when we go here, as you can see, here is a browser support that you can read about, right? We can open it. We can read about it here. And we can also configure something like threshold here, right? So we can change it. So we can type something like bam, bam, and we can change it to 0. For example, 5. And then when you come back here, as you can see, now we don't have Mozilla and WebKit because it is not worth showing you. And I think it's pretty good idea to do something like that. You can also change the threshold to all cosmetic things at once. How to do it? Well, then you need to set something like graceful usage threshold, which says that which is by default set to 0.1. So as you can see, the browser usage threshold for features that gracefully degrade defaults to 1 user in 1000. This threshold is used for things that are graceful, which is cosmetic. So for example, for border radius, which are not so important because your site will not be distracted when somebody visits with the old browser, right? So it doesn't matter when somebody, for example, don't have border radius around something because it's just cosmetic thing, right? So graceful things threshold is low. Here you have the high threshold for the critical things. For example, like box sizing, for flex layout things, because without it your threshold will be completely destroyed. It will not look like it should look like, right? It will not be even possible to read something the way that was intended, right? So this is a critical usage threshold. So with this variable, you can change this threshold, okay? And you might be thinking, hey, where is this compass checking this threshold? Where are these users? It is checking it on the site, which is called caniuse.com. And you can check here, for example, how border radius is supported in all browsers like that. Right? You can show all possible one like that. You can check totally the history of supporting some CSS properties. It's pretty cool. I really like it. So as you can see here, you can see that it's still used here, right? And they say that because of this 3.5, 3.6, they have to use the border radius too. Hey, man, just upgrade the Firefox and then you will see the border radius. It's not so important. Okay, so that's how you can check what you want to support and how you want to support. And now let's, for example, imagine a situation that your boss said, hey, you have to support the Internet Explorer in version above 7. How to do it then? You can set something like browser minimum versions variable, and for example you can say Internet Explorer 7, and because of it you're gonna now support with the mixins that will generate now everything for iOS 7 Plus. even though the threshold was set different way, okay? So because of it, you're gonna support it no matter what, no matter other settings. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And sometimes you do not want to support some kind of browser. For example, you don't want to support Android. Why calculate these things into your project when you do not even create a website for mobile phone, right? How to do it then? Supported browsers, and then you type something like reject. So you want to reject what? You say that something from browsers, from all possible browsers that you support already, and you type there, for example, Opera, Mini, Android, and you can, for example, take out the Internet Explorer, but we'll just comment this thing when we go here. As you can see right now, opacity is not, there is no vendor prefix for opacity for Internet Explorer. Well, Internet Explorer didn't use the opacity, it used what? It used the filter. But because of typing something like that, you can just take it out. Okay, so this is pretty cool, but how do I know these names? How do I know what versions I can type here? You can mostly type all possible things here, but your compass might be old or something like that. How to check it? You can talk with your compass. You can type something like compass interactive, and then you can type, for example, browsers, and then you will see all possible browsers you can use as names. And you can also type something like browser versions, and for example, Internet Explorer. As you can see now, you can see Internet Explorer versions. When you want Firefox, then you will see Firefox versions you can type inside here, right? Pretty cool. You need to remember that unluckily not all names for setting threshold for the specific property are looking like this, so you just need to remember the name here. For example, when you go to the transition, you can see that you have two types: transition support threshold. So as you can see, this thing is just taking lots of time. I think that the best solution is auto prefixing, but we'll talk about this in the next course